I am here at ACRP, the industry's biggest conference, at least I think it might be. You're gonna see this vlog, it's gonna be like, thanks to Viva, I'm here all day interviewing people. If you pan over there, that's our podcast setup. You're gonna get very familiar with seeing that location. In the exhibit hall, it's all about focusing on the sites, especially the coordinators. I love interviewing like frontline workers, but if you're also a CRA, I'm probably gonna feature some of them. Site owners, of course. So these are the topics I'm interested in to capture for this vlog. So you're gonna see me running around, acting a fool all day, interviewing people, meeting people. Hopefully I can obtain some business objectives for myself, accomplish some KPIs for myself, just creating more content for you guys, Guru Nation, meeting more people. I'm actually here thanks to Viva on behalf of Yuma Clinical Trials, so if I can get some studies for my site, that would be amazing as well. And then the after party with Anato later today at 6:30 at Radiant Beer Company. This might be an hour-long vlog, or it might be 20 minutes, who knows how long, but we're gonna have hours of content. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you like. Here with Sun Valley Research Center.
Dr. Rodriguez, our coordinator. Now he's being all shy right now.
Yeah. How's it going? How's it going, guys? What are you looking to accomplish here?
Yeah, just learn, attend the sessions, and connect with people, catch up with people, and just have a good time.
You're gonna go to the Viva booth?
We will. We have not, yes, but we will.
All right. What's good for breakfast?
I don't know. That's what we're waiting to see.
Okay.
It must be good because the line is long.
Were you here yesterday?
Yeah. We came for the networking thing. Just hung out, connected.
What do you actually think about ACRP?
I've been a member. I've been certified for a long time. So I've been part of the organization for many years. I think I'm on 15 years now. So I think it's a great organization. I think they have a lot of educational stuff, and I think it could be beneficial for a lot of people.
One of the things Viva is trying to do is celebrate frontline coordinators.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, right here.
Yeah, like me.
Coordinator.
Yeah.
What's life like as a coordinator right now in 2024?
Fun. I have a good time working as a coordinator. I like it.
But tell the truth.
What's the good and the bad? What's the good and the bad? That's what people want to know.
Yeah. It's a stressful job, but I'm happy doing the work, trying to help new patients that need the attention and need another option for the medication. Is very cool to.
And you get one of the best site owners in the world right here.
Yeah.
Of course, but actually I think he should tell you a little bit about his background. So it was a little transition from being a physician in Mexico to being a coordinator
All
now.
right, what's the background?
Yeah.
Mexicali?
No, I'm from Mexicali. I born there, and I moved to Guadalajara. I was living in Guadalajara 5 years, and I get a master's degree there, and I was working as a médico de salud laboral y seguridad y salud laboral.
Shout out to Latinos in clinical research.
So I was working for NTNT and SKF. So, and then I moved again to Mexicali, and I'm crossing the border every day to work on the site.
That's
in Sun Valley Research Center.
If he makes it on time and the other staff don't, that's shame on them.
He's not the only one that has that commute as well. So yes,
okay.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If I were running, I'd be like making fun of the people showing up late. All right, good. Well, we'll do more videos with Judy and Pedro, and you guys stay tuned. Connect with their LinkedIns underneath.
Okay.
Last minute work, ACRP. You love it.
Let's
He's
do.
looking forward for the weekend and doing a lot more of this.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Live in person.
Yeah. Nice to meet you too. Thanks for setting everything up. And how many people did register for the team?
About 100.
100? Not bad. We'll invite a few more. Got a couple of studies already added in Nada, so there's a lot to talk about.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have fun tonight for sure.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
We'll come back and do some interviews.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, of course I'm here. Guru Nation. You guys should be familiar with Elizabeth Weeks Rowe. She's Amazing person. She actually monitored my site way back in the day. Did a site selection visit. That was the only, like, one of the sites I had that didn't succeed, but unfortunately you saw that one. But you still saw key staff that are still with me. What are you speaking about on Monday?
Monitoring evaluation visits, how to monitor the monitor, but how to do it holistically, kind of improving the relationship.
Also,
like when CRAs come and get signed off. Have you ever been to a monitoring visit where the CRA was with somebody who was observing? Yeah. I'm speaking about that, but not about it being like a checklist, pass fail. More like, you did this well, you need to help with this, kind of a holistic overview.
What are some key elements that people need to understand about this?
That the CRA evaluation process needs to be like a collaboration between the CRA and the person evaluating them. It instills confidence with the site because the site knows the company is performing quality measures to make sure the monitors are doing their job. I mean, it kind of makes sense because monitors, sites are evaluated, studies and countries are regulated. It's good to monitor monitors, but it's good to be done in a positive, collaborative way. So the CRA doesn't feel self-conscious or criticized.
Now, the job market's chaotic. What is your advice for CRAs out there or for CRCs? There's not really too many job cuts at sites, but at CROs, you know, there's a lot of people reaching out, hey, you know, recently been part of a mass layoff, what can we do? And someone who's an industry veteran like yourself, you know, you've been through these cycles over and over again. What is some advice for them, like the newer people maybe just starting out?
I would say networking is your best bet. Reach out to people. You always are a proponent of networking.
Yeah, you have to. That's why you're here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Make connections, attend conferences. I know it sounds hokey, but never give up because the perfect position will come. It might just take a little bit longer, but it cycles. In a couple, 6 months or a year, it's going to be different. It always is like this. It ebbs and flows, right? Yeah.
And one of the things Viva is doing is celebrating sites, celebrating frontline workers at the sites, coordinators. What are your thoughts on clinical research coordinators and how vital they are to the success of a study? Because I think even sponsors sometimes don't understand this importance. That's why I'm so glad you're working for a sponsor, because you can communicate this messaging to them.
I think that I was a coordinator, and I think that coordinators have one of the most important jobs in clinical research, and sometimes I don't think they're as appreciated or understood the depth of responsibility. And I think coordinators have so many paths to career development. Weren't you a coordinator, and now you're a site owner and a business mogul? And
some days still am a coordinator.
And coordinators can go to be site owners, coordinators can go to be CRAs, directors. It's a wonderful jumping off point, you know, for so many opportunities, but it's a hard job. And I think that part's not realized as well. It's a really, really hard job, and they deserve all the respect in the world for what they do.
Well, thank you for what you do, and the industry needs more of you, especially in positions at sponsor level. So I'm really happy when I heard that from you. So thank you so much.
I'm so happy you're here. It's so
Me too.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
You're having your thing tonight.
Yeah.
What
Are you
time?
coming? 6:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there probably after like 7. But it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Likewise.
I hope I get to visit your site again.
Yeah, please. All right, so that was somebody I knew for a long time, Guru Nation. She's been a CRA. She actually probably in 2015 did a site selection visit for us. She wrote the book on clinical research. One of the inspirations for me writing my book was Elizabeth Weeks-Rowe writing her book on clinical research. So really cool to meet up with her. I've actually never seen her in person. All my interactions with her were on Zoom, other than her coming to the site, but that was like 10 years ago. So that was the first time I've seen her in like 10 years. Let's go walk around and see who else is here. Hey, I'm here in front of the FDA's booth. Maybe we'll go in there and do an interview, but I don't know. Also a little bit scared to do that, so maybe not. Let's see. What's the clinical research job market like? Kyle and Benjamin. Look, right now there's a lot of layoffs.
Yes.
We just walked by CRO Alley. I didn't want to interview them, but what do you think about this?
It goes in cycles. It goes up, down, up, down.
So right now
it's on the
direction.
down. But then you're seeing things in there. You speak to clients and it's coming in, and people want to kind of move up as quickly as possible and get people back into work. So I think positive few months, things like this definitely help as well. Coming to
And what kind of
ACRP.
people like do you look for as far as candidates? Because there's going to be people watching and like CRCs.
Yeah. So
What about CRA that just got laid off?
Yeah. So I work consultants. So from your nurses, CRCs, up to your vice presidents of clinical. So
Alright.
anyone on a freelance interim who's looking to get into that side of things, that's how I help.
And like, what about like CTMs or
Yeah.
or project management
Yeah.
assistant?
We'll go all the way from your CRC all the way up to your C-suite person, honestly. So even if it's a senior director that's looking, we have a team that will handle that as well. And the great thing about Barrington James is we're all specialized, so we know our markets pretty much inside and out. So
All right, give some advice, please. Someone that just got laid off, part of a mass layoff. Let's say they were clinical trial assistant or administrator, one of these admin roles. But let's say they've been doing that 3 years or so, or maybe even a CRA for 2 years, unfortunately lay off. Like, what's some good advice for them that like Barrington James would say, hey, I can work with you?
Network, network, network.
I
So
always say that, thank you.
you wanna kind of connect with as many people on LinkedIn. Your reach will get out there. People will see you.
I'm telling you guys, I'm glad to hear from other people.
Yeah, I think it's in any kind of place. It's who you kind of know, the relationships you build, whether that's
But
on
what
a
is good
site.
network? Because people will hear this and be like, okay, so they start spam, copy and paste, 100 people message the same thing. That's
Yeah.
not networking.
No.
No.
So you got to be tailored.
Yeah.
You got to stand out in that side of things.
You
Don't
gotta
just
actually try.
Yeah, you got to. If you want someone to take their 5 minutes to look at your message,
Yeah.
you have to put some more effort into that to be kind of different. Think outside the box.
and especially
And
with
unique.
us, with
Rally.
so many people that reach out to us, the more personal your message is, the more likely we're going to see it, reach back out, have that conversation.
And you guys must get hit up a lot right now.
Yes, lots.
Do you hate it?
No. It's interesting. People do such great work in this
But
industry.
give us like the real, like we want the real, like 1 minute advice. You guys get reached out by, especially now, tons of candidates,
Yeah.
right? What makes them stand out to you?
Someone who calls me. So it's calling into our office to speak to me. So they see
Instead of messaging,
yeah. So call in. That's where, because LinkedIn, it's busy.
it's easy.
It's
and it's easy.
so
It's less
busy.
friction.
Yeah.
Right? Picking up the phone, calling. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Then
How
they're
can they
taking
call
time.
you? How can they call you?
So we
People are
have
gonna want to do it right now.
1 second.
You want a job? Call up Kyle and Benjamin.
646-415-8221.
All right, you guys got that? Thank you so much, Kyle and
No
Benjamin.
problem.
We appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's get Kyle's number too, in case Benjamin doesn't answer.
Kyle will.
To me, one of the best parts is networking with sponsors. So if you see a very big sponsor here, Sanofi, and I'm gonna go do like a 2-minute pitch because these guys don't know me. So I'm the same as you in this case. 2-minute pitch of how to get my site, Yuma Clinical Trials, some studies, because I'm currently working with them on one, and I'm gonna use that as a way to get in on some more trials. So I'm gonna wait politely and talk. Yeah, as you can see, they're busy, one of the busier booths. One of the things you do, you can get a cookie.
You know what's funny is a lot
You want one, Arturo? It's good, man. I'm with Yuma Clinical Trials.
Okay.
So we're not too far off from San Diego, but we actually do some studies with Sanofi.
Okay.
And I was trying to see what other therapeutic areas you guys do.
So-
This is Robert from Sanofi, by the way.
How you doing?
We're live here at ACRP, so I'm trying to position my site. We actually love working with Sanofi. We did a few derm
Fantastic.
studies with you. We have an asthma one coming up. So we have
Okay.
multi-therapeutic PIs, but I was just curious as to what you have right now going
So,
on.
it's a great question. We have a wonderful brochure here. These QR codes, scan them. It'll show you our entire R&D pipeline and some of the studies and
Love
research
it.
we're doing. If you're interested in more work, I can scan your badge.
Yeah.
We have feasibility groups that are going and they take all that information and we'll try to fit them with a good, a good fit from your, qualifications for your site into those studies.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, please. So take that, and if you don't mind, I'd love to scan your badge.
Yeah, he's scanning my badge. See, guys, if you come to conferences, one of the things you got to do, you have to.
Of course, perfect.
My derm PI loves you guys.
Well, derm is definitely our wheelhouse, right?
Is it?
We got Dupixent. We have some new compounds that are coming. Derm, and that's where I started. And I'm working on some derm stuff now. So we'd love to get you in the mix. Absolutely.
We'd love to do that. Thank you, guys. This is how you network if you're a site.
Absolutely.
Right? Thank you, Robert. Everyone can
Thank
follow
you very much.
on LinkedIn.
Please. I'm on LinkedIn. Check me out. Find my page.
Thank you. So that's how you do it, biz dev, like at these things. Don't be afraid to go up to the sponsors. Like they're here, they obviously need more sites. So I went with Sanofi. Off camera, we talked a little bit like study specifics. That's why I couldn't show it. But we're gonna do a 20-minute long podcast with Robert. So stay tuned for that one. It won't be on this vlog. It'll be on my channel. Right now, as you can see, they have all the breakout rooms. I won't go in there and disrupt, but there's like good interviews everywhere. But we're trying to focus on like sites, site owners, CRCs. So we'll find some more. But as you already seen, the job market, there's a lot of tech vendors here, CRAs, sponsors. So there's like a good mix of everyone. But we're gonna try to focus on some sites for Viva right now. Rob, ran into him at ACRP. Let people know about you and
Sure.
happened. And thank you for stopping me in this.
No, I just wanted to say hi and thank you for the videos that you put out on YouTube. Very, very. They were instrumental in me passing my CCRP.
Congrats.
Yeah.
And now what do you do? What kind of work do you do?
I'm a clinical trials nurse. I've been a clinical trials nurse for 3 years at Sloan Kettering. And the reason why I'm here is I'm trying to do some networking as well. As a nurse, there's a big emotional investment that you make with the patients. I was pretty empowered by, I don't know if you were able to hear some of that first.
No. What did I miss?
He's being silly.
No, not really. What did I miss?
Well, they were just talking about how we have to sort of meet this moment that clinical trials is sort of exploding and that the workforce is sort of lagging. A lot of people back into the profession, and we have to sort of start a little bit earlier in the recruitment.
The sites, yeah.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the CROs having like mass layoffs and things like that, and there's like a dichotomy. So I just did a video recently where I'm like, if you've just been laid off at a CRO, go to the site side. Like even a big site like Sloan Kettering. I mean, you guys probably hiring. I know you can't speak for them, but from what you see, like.
Yes, we're definitely hiring and recruiting right now. But it is hard to. There's a big turnover even at the sites. But just wanted to say hi. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. If you want to come do a sit-down podcast, happy to do that too. We're going to be here all day.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you, Rob.
All right.
Quick interview here at the Viva booth. Can you guys please introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Michelle Vredberg. I am the General Manager of Site Solutions.
General Manager, Site Solutions. What is it about sites that is attractive? Like, what makes Viva attractive for sites?
Like, if I was a site, why would I want to pick Viva?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is sites are our customer. So when we design it, it is specifically for the needs of the sites, for the site's experience. We're not serving anybody else. We're not trying to get other people's requirements impacting the site's experience.
And this background explains it all, really.
It does, because we serve the industry as a whole. However, we treat them all completely separately. We're able to create purpose-built software for sponsors, purpose-built software for sites, purpose-built software for patients, and then we connect it all behind the scenes. I heard somebody described it this way once, and I thought this was really good, we're sort of like Apple, where sites shouldn't have to think about how everything is connecting. It should just work. Like, you should be able to have your Mac and your iPhone and your iPad, and you don't have to worry about making sure that they're connected to each other, or upgrading everything in a certain order. Like, we
Yep.
take care of all of that for you. You should just be able to use it and have a great experience.
And that's
yes.
the big thing is now is the single sign-on.
Yes, we're really excited about that. We're really excited about that because so many sites, when I talk to sites, they'll say, "Oh, I know Viva. I'm using EDC for my sponsor."
That's us right now. At Yuma Clinical Trials, we're using EDC. I'm using personally, well, we are using, even though we use Creo, we do use the Site Vault. We've been using it for like study startup activities. Like before you know you have a study, here's everything to keep everything organized.
Yes.
But that single sign-on is very attractive because it makes everything just a little easier. And then I didn't realize there's feasibility involved in that as well.
Yes, and also, have you heard of Launchpad?
No.
So Launchpad is something new that we just released also. It's a password keeper. So we really, we realize that as a site, you might have multiple username and passwords for different Viva systems across your sponsors and your own site vault. So we created Viva ID, so you have one username and password that works everywhere. But that doesn't go far enough. So we also created this password keeper, which you create it for your study. It's site-owned. The sponsor doesn't create it for you. So you put in all the different systems you might be using for your study. Anyone that is Viva Tech, it's single sign-on. So anyone where the username and password is Viva, you just click it and you're in. And for the rest, you can put your username and password. There's a little copy button. But the better part is that if you create it, if you're the first one to create it for your study, you can share it with everybody else at your site that's working on that study. And then they don't have to make their own tracker. Obviously, your password is protected from them.
Yep.
But that is something that we're just trying to really create efficiencies so you can spend less time messing around with technology and more time focused on your patients.
And if people want to reach out to you on LinkedIn, what can they do?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn, some of our most active participants on LinkedIn is, I don't know if you know Clara Dux. Yeah, she's all over LinkedIn.
Interviewed her, I think, once.
Yeah, Clara
once or
is
twice.
great. She's done it all. She's been a patient. She's worked in research. Now she's on the software side.
Okay.
Bree Burks, of course, is very
Bree Burks,
active. Nate Davis is also very active on LinkedIn.
But like you yourself, if people want to get a hold
Oh,
of
me?
you.
Yeah, so I'm... my name is hard to spell.
Yeah, good.
But
Everybody connect.
it's Michelle Vredberg. It's like V Redberg at Viva.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Can you let people know what you do, a little bit about yourself, what you do?
Sure. I'm the Director of Strategy on our Site Solutions team at Viva.
Super important. What's
Yeah.
the strategy right now? Like, what do we need to know?
So, I mean, Viva really cares about sites, and our team is developing free technology for sites to use to make their operations run smoother.
Free, guys. One of the reasons we use it, even though we're Creo users, so that comes with eReg, we still use Viva Site Vault for our study startup stuff. So before we know for a fact we got awarded a study, you need to put the documents somewhere. And those may be feasibilities, those may be the CDAs, those may be the synopsis, all that stuff. You don't want to lose it.
Right.
You don't want to just put it in a drawer somewhere like I used to do. And now you have a free option for it. And if you want to use it for your regular ISF, you can. And then as you can see, it integrates into everything else. So it's a good strategy.
Regulatory and source documents. It makes it really easier for your monitors to get in there and monitor too. I don't know if you've experienced that yet.
Yeah, we used the EDC on one study, and the coordinators seem to be happy entering data. So shout out to Lana and Gracia and Katie and Luis. Thank you. We're here with Lena from the FDA. Maybe 10 years ago, I did a video in front of the FDA campus there in Maryland.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really cool. I had like a little vlogging camera and I did it, but so much has changed since then. And there's like a misconception that amongst sites that the FDA is out to get there. And one of the things I've been noticing from talking to the CROs, sponsors, even the tech vendors, and like the good sites that have actually been through FDA audits is it's not really the case. Like, you guys work closely with sponsors and make sure the drugs are safe. Can you talk a little bit about the experience you've been having here at ACRP so far?
Yeah, the experience has been really positive. Actually, years ago, I've done this conference every year, and years ago, people would avoid our booth just because of,
we were
basically,
joking about that earlier.
Exactly what you said. People thought that we were out to get them, and that is not the case. Actually, FDA works really hard to bring people into compliance. So that means working together. I mean, it's not about, going after somebody for doing something wrong. It's really about pointing out things that could be brought into compliance so that you're protecting your patients, you are protecting your data. And, ultimately everybody wants to have good results in the end. And so, so we have to work together as a team in order to do that.
Why is it important that you guys have a presence at conferences like this? Because you're the only regulator here as far as I can tell.
Because it is important because there are a lot of questions. I actually work in the Office of Communications in Cedar, and our division, the Division of Drug Information, receives questions from industry all the time, every day, from all over the world. And so it is really important that we have information available for the regulated industry so that they are able to do the right thing. And our presence really is just to make sure they have the information to answer their questions. And we have so many resources on our website. We have a great outreach program. We have our small business and industry assistance program that has several industry conferences a year, live webinars, and everything is recorded. These are valuable resources for any member of industry, regulated industry.
Thank you, Lena. I mean, we appreciate the work you do as somebody who follows a lot of biotech companies, pharma companies, and also owns a site. I really appreciate the work you guys do. Can you just walk us through maybe as we wrap up a little bit of the material we have here?
Oh, yeah.
You want to hold the mic?
Well, the materials are kind of bare right now because everybody took everything. But one thing I have to say is our small business and industry assistance program. Everybody in ACRP has received this card in their bag.
Okay.
It has QR codes, but basically this is one of the main resources that we promote here at the conference because everything is recorded for any member of industry. Sometimes we have CE credits depending on what type of CE you're looking for, but almost all of the conferences are at no cost, virtually available, a great resource. The other thing I'd like to mention are our Cedar Learn training and education. This, again, is really important. We are promoting this because we have a one-stop shop for Cedar Learning. And it could be things that are just very basic, where you have people in your sites who just need to learn about FDA, the mission, and other things, how the structure of FDA.
That's super important.
Yeah, and then we have some specific topics as well. And there are, I think, over 200 courses available on this website. So with this combined with SBIA, I think. You just have to walk away with those two things. And then on the back of this card is our contact information. So we do encourage people to call and email us whenever they have a question. I mean,
we'll put links to the YouTube and LinkedIn underneath.
Yeah.
Diversity in trials too.
Yeah, we have lots of different things like contact information, important guidances. I think we pulled very select topic areas and that are up right now. Just being talked about in general. We don't have all of the hot topics, but definitely we have some of the important ones.
Well,
like
this is one that's
diversity,
super important for everyone. Sponsors, us with Latinos in Clinical Research. We have a group called Latinos in Clinical Research, and we've been doing this since 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's now the FDA is mandating that we have reflective patient population in the trials.
Important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Super important.
Then for rare diseases is one of the top priorities in FDA, and development of treatment options for patients who have rare diseases is just very hard. You're not going to get the numbers that you want to participate in clinical trials. And so over the years, hearing from many patients, many advocates, definitely natural history studies is something to consider when you're doing work in that space. This is actually a workshop that's coming up very soon.
May 13th.
Yeah. So, and then we have other workshops too, public workshops that are free for the public. It's always important to engage with FDA if you are working on a specific topic, really want to learn and also express your own thoughts and opinions, because that to FDA is very important. We do have other things too going on, but we have so much resources. I mean, this is like bear pickings right now.
I'm glad I worked up the courage to approach FDA, as a site as someone who works in the industry, yeah, you're right. Like people are generally afraid,
But not anymore.
Shouldn't be the case.
But Pleasant, over the years, I've seen this shift where people are recognizing that FDA is here to really be a resource, to be the regulator, to really just help everybody do the right thing.
Thank you very much, Lena. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Nice meeting you here.
Yeah.
Ran into Kyle. What's going on, Kyle?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I've been watching your YouTube videos, and they've been helping me out a lot. So
where do you currently do?
I work at Interspon. I'm in business development, so
love biz
new
dev.
to the industry, so I learn a lot from you.
Biz dev is what are some of the things you do? Just try to get clients.
Building relationships with sponsors and CROs, and getting new study opportunities for our sites.
Oh, I like it. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can do like a sit-down podcast.
Sure.
For sites, this is good for sites. Can you give us like a macro overview of what you guys do for sites?
Yeah, well, we're affiliated, so they are free to work with whoever they like. We just present the study opportunities to them, and they say if they're interested or not. We'll execute the CDAs, the FQs, and the PSVs with them.
Oh, I like it.
And then we'll negotiate the contract and budget with the sponsor, and then one with the site, and go from there.
From Interspon, Kyle from Interspon, thank you so much for coming up. I really appreciate it.
For sure.
Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. We're here at ACRP in Anaheim 2024. I'm here with Katie, twin sister to Kyle, who you saw on my Instagram story. They're from Interspon, and we're going to get into a little bit about what they do, but we're also going to talk about site issues. Like you were saying, Katie, complexity of protocols. They're not getting any easier.
Right.
They're actually getting harder. Equipment is getting more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just give us an overview of what you do so that we can have a good idea of like the context that you're speaking from.
Sure. Absolutely. So I oversee 120 research sites that we work with at Interspond. I'm part of maintaining that network and then continuing to build on that network also. So wherever we can find gaps geographically or therapeutically, that's when we'll look to build our network so we can support studies from a multitude of therapeutic areas. Through that process, of course, in speaking with sites or bringing on new sites, there's a lot of discussion on how we can support or what type of studies do we bring forward, and understanding where the sites can build up more at their own center, whether it's from a PI specialty or equipment, so they can be selected on more studies. So a lot of this falls into very much what I hear and see when it comes to engaging with our sites.
So do you work like directly with coordinators? Like I imagine a lot of the times a coordinator is talking to you about an issue. And how does it work with a site? Like how do they work with you, first of all? Like,
Sure. We work with all of different types of staff. So I've worked with CRCs, PIs, site directors, clinical ops. So really it just depends on who's going to be that person that's I'm going to maintain that relationship with. So across the board, because we have sites that are owned by the PI, and that's who I'll mainly speak with. When it comes to the study specifically, we'll work a lot with the CRCs or the site director in moving those next steps forward on feasibility. So
okay. So when you're getting into like feasibility and protocol complexity, and then actually starting to do the study, do you still get involved with the coordinators at that aspect, like when they're actually enrolling?
After the site has their contract and budget fully executed with us, we connect them directly with the sponsor and CRO, but we're certainly still there to support in the wings. So we understand that maybe they're having difficulties getting in touch with their CRA, or they're finding that recruitment efforts aren't going as well as they thought. So knowing that we connect at conferences such as this, what resources do you have available? We're having some staffing issues. CTMS, we'd love to get some more training on that. So we're certainly there to still support, because ultimately them enrolling is where our success comes in too. So we want to make sure that that's always there.
So them enrolling is your success. How does that work specifically?
Right, so through the budget and contract process, because we don't charge any type of monthly subscription or per study fee. So really it's once the site's selected and we do the budget and contract negotiation, which is where our success comes in too. So through affiliation, sites work with us, and it's not until after they're selected that we agree to the budget and contract that there's some financial gain for both parties. And patient enrollment is certainly a part of one of those line items.
And as far as complexity of trials, because this is, I mean, everyone hopes that it's going to get easier. You and I both know, at least I think, that it's going to get harder, not easier. I mean, I do see a world where we have a clinical trial with one person. We've already seen studies like that for certain rare diseases.
Right.
What are your thoughts on how sites can, or how sites should adapt to ever increasing complexity?
Yeah, and that's certainly a challenge that we're working through at the moment. I mean, a lot of what we're presenting is more in the moderate to severe. The IE criteria is a lot more stringent. I know there's been some difficulties in equipment or rating that's needed depending on the study. So we're trying to, through our business development side, one, provide that feedback directly to sponsors and CROs so they can hear that. Because ultimately, if sites can't produce, it's of no benefit to them in the long run as well. So really trying to connect those lines of communication so they can hear those pain points and then get ahead of it as well. So again, providing those resources, where can we support? Hey, we're seeing more in this side of neurology or psychiatry. You know, it may help to bring on some additional raters so you've got that support so they're not scrambling after the fact. So it's being a little bit more proactive or responsive versus reactive to what's coming through the pipe.
Do you guys help with like those kind of things? Like, I know a lot of sites, we do some psych studies ourselves, and you're right, the rater stuff is sometimes very specific on what kind of raters they need. Do you guys help in that regard, or do you try to share best practices or things like that?
Yeah, we definitely try to share best practices, and so we certainly don't cover all the bases for what we do, but that's again where this conference comes in handy, because I'll definitely go and talk to many exhibitors here to understand what they do. So when I'm speaking with the site and I know that they're having some trouble, I can say, okay, I talked to so-and-so and they'd be a great resource for you. Here's their contact so you can get in touch and they can help with that mitigation.
Okay, I see. And as far as like coordinators, because it's one of the problems with, well, I guess that compounds all this increasing complexity, is sites are understaffed. And we're in an interesting dynamic right now in our industry where there's a lot of layoffs at the CRO level, even some sponsor level. Like when the sponsors merge with biotechs, usually the redundancy gets cut out. But the sites, that's not the case. The sites are pretty much always hiring, even if they're in saturated markets. Like currently 2024, they're still pretty busy. What are your thoughts on sites training staff, and what have you observed, like from some of your successful sites versus some of your sites that are maybe less successful when it comes to like onboarding and training staff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it falls into two categories of staying focused on what you do have control over and what you don't have control over. I think sometimes from the site side, you know, there's excitement to get into research and continue those trials. I think sometimes they can end up biting off more than they can chew. So just being mindful of what you can support successfully and keeping the goal at the forefront. Again, I think also seeing where opportunities are to support them when it comes to their staffing. What are those struggles? Who are people that they can talk to? And just overall, I mean, with any business, right, keeping that retention of your staff, keeping them happy and feeling supported. I know on the CRC level, they're busy. And I specifically ask sites how many studies their CRCs are handling at one time.
What's like a good answer?
2 to 3.
2 to 3? Wow. If they're the only CRC, right?
Right. Yep. If I start to hear 5 to 7, it makes me take pause, because I'm like, those folks they're going to be overworked, and when that quantity goes up, that quality goes down. So we try to sit in that sweet spot of 2 to 3.
5 to 7. It makes me rethink my strategy at Yuma Clinical Trials.
Okay.
So this coming Monday, our 5th coordinator starts her first day. So we have 5 coordinators, and then myself too, so 6 technically. Everyone gets trained on all the studies, so we don't actually have like a lead CRC necessarily. There is one her name is Katie. She's like the supervisor, but we have like 8 studies, right? So if you ask any of our individual CRCs how many studies do you have, it's 8, but they have 5 people
Yeah, so then that's plenty, and that's manageable. And again, you can put that quality there because a lot of it is responsiveness too, and that's where sites struggle as well. You know, again, like what they can't control, and we have difficulties when we're trying to work with the site to work through those feasibility activities, getting FQs completed, scheduling PSVs, and when that non-responsiveness starts to happen, it makes it challenging for us, and we end up having to withdraw them. Yeah. So we understand things come up, sites are busy. So it's again just keeping those lines of communication open. Hey, we understand the FQ is due on this study. We'll definitely have it to you by Friday. Just wanted to let you know where we're at. But when a site we're reaching out and we just don't hear anything, it's hard to advocate and provide that support then when we're communicating that to the sponsor and CRO.
And where like most typically the non-responsiveness occurring?
I would say when it comes to the FQs, I think it's always a little bit easier to say, yep, we're interested, tell us more about the trial. Yeah, happy to sign a CDA. But then once it needs to have that time invested of getting the feasibility questionnaire completed or the staffing available to support the PSV, that's where it can start to become a little more stagnant.
And if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that? We'll have your LinkedIn underneath. I'm assuming you have a LinkedIn.
Yes, yep.
Is that the best place for people to contact you?
Yeah, honestly it is. Connect with us on LinkedIn. We have our online platform Crown there as well, where sites can engage with study opportunities. So if they go to InterSpawn's LinkedIn page, you'll see I'm a contact on there and they can engage that way, and certainly email or give me a call and happy to help.
All right, well, thank you very much, Katie. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
And, for coming out here and letting us know a little bit about site life, coordinator life, and complexities and things like that.
Absolutely. Love to hear it.
Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. I'm here at ACRP 2024 Networking. I found someone, well, she found me. Thank you so much, Ann, for coming up to me and letting me know. She listened to the podcast, and I said, you know what, this could be a podcast, your career, your story. So coordinating and then CRA in the same place.
Yeah.
So this is like a big AMC.
So typically at our site, the way it works is you start as a research assistant or a coordinator, just depending on your experience, and then kind of as you get a grasp of things, you can be promoted to a CRA. And it's you still kind of fulfill the same role. You might have a little bit more responsibility as far as like managing the financials of the trial and things like that, but you're still a coordinator, and at our site we still refer to ourselves as coordinators.
Okay, what were you doing before CRC? Like, how did you discover research?
I was an EMT.
Oh, EMT? Right.
Yeah,
I got my brother-in-law's a EMT paramedic. I think, yeah, you're definitely not the first. There's many that have made that leap to. Matter of fact, in Yuma, at my site at Yuma Clinical Trials, we interviewed someone who was a EMT, but his schedule was crazy, and he was making actually pretty good money.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to take a pay cut to work for us initially until we train you.
Yeah, the overtime was definitely really, really good. So.
But you wanted to do research.
Well, actually, when I was in college, I got my EMT certification because I wanted to go to PA school. And to go to PA school, you need patient care hours, and it needs to be hands-on patient care hours. And so I went the EMT route. Some people do like a nursing assistant, things like that. And so I got my EMT license, and then I was able to actually work through COVID, which was really nice. I was able to do school remotely and work kind of full-time, honestly.
And how did you discover research?
So after a while, I kind of realized, and I was putting my application together for PA school, I kind of realized that it's not really what I wanted to do anymore, and so I started looking at...
Why, stressful or...?
Just, I think I didn't want to be primarily patient-facing and in patient care, but I like patient care. I like working with patients and working in some sort of healthcare adjacent role, but maybe not being the primary caretaker. So, just was kind of looking there, and I think as far as career development, I heard from a lot of PAs that, some people said that there wasn't a ton of growth. which made me a little bit worried. And I'm sure there are other options. It's just at the time, I don't know.
But definitely the EMT, I'm like very familiar with that career path because of my brother-in-law. He's works for the city of Surprise, Arizona, so it's like a suburb of Phoenix. And he's 30 years into it, so he's like 2 more years left to hit 30.
That's awesome.
And like, but there's a lot of side effects, I guess, that go into that role. One of them is PTSD. Like, if you work in that role long enough, you will see some crazy stuff. And he brings it home with him.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a very common thing among like first line responders, paramedics, EMTs.
Yeah.
They have support groups dedicated just for them. So that could have potentially been a route you would have gone down.
Right, and I work for a private ambulance company, so it was a little bit different. It's a lot of transfers, a lot of dialysis calls, things like that. Some emergencies, but they're usually a little lower level. Unless I was assisting a paramedic, then it's a higher level emergency that I would be involved in.
But those transferable skills from paramedic or EMT paramedic to CRC, people don't equate that, but like if you're an EMT or a paramedic, you have the transferable skills. Like one of the things we need for a CRC, hey, can you draw blood? Can you get an IV? Can you administer an infusion? Can you do like just basic vitals? And you guys, I mean, that's what you're trained to do.
Yeah, that's what we did every day with every
and work
patient.
well under pressure.
Yeah,
like,
That
who cares about database lock when you got someone dying, you know,
yeah,
in front of you?
definitely. So then I was just looking for what other jobs I can find or do with my skill set, and I found clinical research. And
so you just Googled like, what can paramedic do? Or?
I just started looking on LinkedIn at what people that were in EMS and what they do now, and clinical research was one of them. And honestly, I just applied to a ton of healthcare adjacent roles, and that's kind of where I landed. So, yeah.
And then how many interviews did you have to do, or how many applications did you have to do to even get interviews? People see the success. I want them to see the failures, if you had any. I'm guessing you did.
I interviewed for probably 8 months, or applied for 8 months before I even got my first. Yeah, hundreds, a lot.
I hope
it's
you guys are listening.
It's really, I would say it's really hard, and it's definitely tough, even when the market's good, I think.
Just that first one, though.
Yeah, especially
when
you have no experience, no one wants to take a chance on you, you know?
Right. But after someone does, and you get like a year or two under your belt, then everyone comes after you.
Yeah.
There's some job recruiters here, like 2 booths down.
Yeah.
We interviewed them earlier. They're calling sites up all the time, like, hey, and like subvertly, like the players don't even know. Like, hey, Annie or Ann, do you want to work? Are you tired of your job?
Yeah.
I'm sure you get hit up still by recruiters.
Yeah. I think it's also a way to kind of level up your career if being a coordinator kind of plateaus and there's no future growth opportunities, then you can, you know.
But your employer, it seems like they're ahead of that. They promoted you.
Yeah, and then I guess next steps I'll see what happens.
Is what?
I guess I'll see what happens next steps wise.
What's goals for you?
I think I like being in a role that I'm able to do what I want and how I want it. So maybe
like manager?
Maybe manager. I think there's
Have you met Bree Burke?
No, I haven't.
I gotta introduce you to Bree.
Okay.
She like runs the show here at Viva.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Yeah, so I kind of like running the show. I think that's why I enjoy being a coordinator so much.
But you're in charge of yourself and your patients, right? Do you have like any managerial roles now? Like, are there?
No. And I think before I even get to that step, there's still a lot I have to learn. You know.
Yeah, but it happens fast.
Yeah.
What? So just oncology right now?
I work in breast health, so specifically a lot of robotic surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super interesting stuff.
Yeah, and then I was also able to work on our NAPRC program, which is the National Accreditation for Rectal Cancer. It's not within clinical research, but it's through the ACS program, which is American College of Surgeons. And so hospitals can get accredited for breast cancer, rectal cancer, And there's the director, which is typically the physician, and then there's the coordinator who does all the audits and like policies, procedures, hassles all the other people in the program to get compliant with all the standards. And then after a year of being compliant, you can apply for the accreditation.
Gotcha.
So this spring, we're on track to get our accreditation, and we'll be, I think, one of 8 hospitals in Illinois to have it.
Abby from Viva said, let's celebrate coordinators. What did she tell you? Like, to celebrate something?
To say what I like about the industry, maybe?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I think as a coordinator, you get to wear a lot of hats. I feel like I hear that phrase all the time, and I think it really is true. I think I get to work remotely and answer queries, which isn't always the most
half
fun.
the time you work remotely, or like all the time?
It's really dependent on where my patients are at. You know, some weeks I have follow-ups that I have to be in person at.
Gotcha.
They have questionnaires, things like that. We are an all-paper site right now, so I have to be, yeah.
Even regulatory?
Mm-hmm.
You guys might want to consider this.
I know.
At least we're regulatory.
There's just a lot of red tape with getting
with the
things
health
approved.
system.
Yeah. So
that's where people with like in different pay grades, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I know. I even saw on your podcast of you had Slope.
Slope.io, yeah.
So
Russ
I
Felix.
had a really big study that had a ton of supplies that I had to keep track of, and I was listening to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be so great. And I actually had a demo with Slope, and now I almost feel embarrassed that I even contacted them because we're on month, I want to say maybe 10 or 11 of going through red tape, and our IT department is asking them for things, and I know this poor coordinator is like, this is a free system and it's taking months.
But you know what? Like, change agents come from within too.
Yeah.
So it's worth it. That's why I'm going to introduce you to Bree. I mean, I don't care if you guys use Viva or not. I think she's a good connection for you because there's a lot of similarities to her career and yours.
Okay.
She went the RN route at Academic Center.
Awesome.
You went the paramedic EMT. Academic Center, large health system, both oncology as well, so there's a lot of similarities. So all paper, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Any advice for people watching? They're saying, dang, you know, Anne, I only wish I could be in her position. Whether they're EMT or whatever background they are. Because I think the part that is going to get lost on this is hundreds of applications. And what made you not give up?
I just knew I didn't want to be an EMT for much longer. Honestly, my back would probably be broken if I kept working there. It's just a lot of carrying patients, so that was always a struggle for me, especially because I'm so short.
There's better use of your skill set, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's just staying consistent, and even I know it feels like you're failing and you're not doing great, but just keep applying. And
can they connect with you? You're gonna be a mentor to people?
Yeah, definitely, no problem.
Put you on the spot. Okay, Anne's LinkedIn will be underneath. I'm gonna have to make sure I have it because you look like someone, and I know everyone tells you that.
Everyone tells me that.
All right, so I'm gonna find out for sure now. But thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Thank you for inspiring other people that might be watching. Everybody go connect with Anne right now. I'm here with CRC. We're actually, the guys are gonna set up the podcast set up now. We'll go more in depth, right? But Tammy and Ade Ronke. This is a CRC right here, right?
So I'm a CRC. I have a bachelor's in animal biology. I have a master's degree in animal biology, and I'm currently doing my PhD in health science.
Oh, okay. So if people want to get a hold of you, they can watch the actual podcast. Wow, the light has just improved everything. Like,
I know.
Tremendously. And then we got your friend or colleague?
She's my sister.
CRP PD, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Let us know a little bit about your story. We're going to do the actual podcast, but what do you think so far about ACRP?
Oh, this is fantastic.
You're here to network?
This is my second time here.
You came on your own?
Yes, I.
You paid for yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. These people are paying for their own tickets, guys. Amazing. Networking is where it matters.
It's everything.
Hey, you guys are dedicated to this.
Yeah.
All right, that's why we're doing a podcast right now. And then I got some people I need to introduce you to. All right, stay tuned. Okay, we left ACRP. It was pretty cool. I haven't been to one of these in a while. We were, kind of handcuffed to just the booth, unfortunately, but these are not just my videography team, Jair and Arturo. They are driving me to the next location, which is the Inato after party. So I had to change of clothes, and this is like a non-ACRP sponsored event. So this is an Inato event. If anything, it's more like a SOS type of vibe where people are just gonna show up. Doesn't cost anything. It's more true to like the thesis of Save Our Sites. And there's gonna be a bunch of site owners, and we have over 100 like actual registrants, but I expect double that amount in people that are actually gonna show up. So what did you guys think of the ACRP event, first half of the day? Everybody follow him too on Instagram.
It was an unfortunate scenario of people getting in their own way. We ran into a situation where we had a really great podcast setup, and we were well out of people's way. It was in a wide open area, and we managed to make a good podcast setting there. Unfortunately, some of the event holders or event personnel deemed it to be unsafe, and they were concerned that the fire marshal would have something to say about it, except they didn't talk to no fire marshal. So and then they proceeded to mention that any filming outside of the Viva booth was prohibited. And I at that moment wondered, did the fire marshal also tell them that? Highly doubt it. But yeah, I was frustrated, probably more than anybody else.
Yeah, more than me. I was amazed. Like, okay, just calm down. It's all good. We still ended up getting a bunch of content. It was less comfortable than I would like because I stood up the whole time, but we still got it. We still did our thing at the end of the day.
We did. We made do with what we had. But like I said, I thought we had a really great setup. I thought we did. We were mindful of the guests, and we were in a location that wouldn't bother anybody. It almost felt like they saw somebody doing something out of the box, which for us, it's not very out of the box. It's an everyday thing. But it just made them feel uncomfortable enough to shut it down. But I knew my position. I came here to be the videographer for Dan, and it wasn't my place to go any further than ask a few questions and just get as much clarity as I could. It still doesn't make any sense to me, but here we are.
Well, on to the next event, which is, again, it's an Inato sponsored unofficial ACRP after party. Again, the vibe is much more like Save Our Sites conference type of vibe. So look forward to it right now. We're gonna see what happens there, and looking forward to meeting a bunch of site owners, have meaningful conversations, record some podcasts for sure, and make some relationships. All right, this is the only time you're gonna see her. Thank you, Julie, for everything you do. If you want studies from Julie, join our site now. Didn't even need the mic for her, actually.
I'm Alfia Wag. I work for DM Clinical Research, and I'm a talent acquisition manager.
Okay. Awesome. If you had a magic wand, what's something you would change about the clinical trial industry?
Have more candidate resource pool, because we have a very concentrated candidate resource pool in clinical research. The database and the people around in the industry are very limited. I wish we could have more awareness for clinical research so that, we get more database.
What technologies excite you the most in clinical trials?
I think DM uses Florence and Core, and they talk about them all the time. So I do not work in electronic data capture, but our team are very much positive about Florence and Core.
Okay.
So my name is Ashley Balderas. I'm a culture coordinator at DM Clinical Research.
Can you talk about what your favorite part of your job is?
Yeah, so my favorite part of my job is just being able to take care of the people who are taking care of, the medicine and moving forward and advancing and making sure that their dedication and innovation is noted and appreciated. So.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm with Radiant Pharmacy now. I'm actually from the pharmacy side, but I do have a background in clinical research. From my clinical research experience, I found that patient recruitment has been challenging part for most of the studies, and for approaching it in a collaborative approach with other healthcare professionals in a community setting, I think that this can bring out to more diversity into patient population. So definitely working with pharmacy or community sites will bring in a more patient diversity, and there's a lot of room for this in this approach. So I just think that's the area that we can work together with.
Hi, my name is Dean Chang. I'm from DM Clinical Research. I'm a clinical project manager.
And what is your favorite thing about the clinical trial industry?
It's always a new thing, and we do collaborative, innovative, and also diversity and equation and very inclusive works. And it's always innovative. That's why I love this job.
Why is diversity important in the clinical research space?
It's because not only participant-wise, but all our data that we're getting from need to be from all of our people, right? So that is why we are very focused on diversity.
My name is Jenny Turner. I work at Summit Research, which is a part of Headlands Site Network in Portland, Oregon.
Awesome. And what is one unique thing about your site that you wish sponsors knew?
I would have to say that we've been a part of every FDA-approved drug on the market right now for Alzheimer's. So it's really incredible that we've been in this space this long, about 30 years, and we want to see this thing through and continue to being on the cutting edge of this space. And it's just an exciting place for us to be.
Hi, I'm Brittany Kendrick. I am a coordinator at ClinVest Research. We're a Headlands research site. My favorite part about my job is training. I love to help other staff members, new staff members, be successful at their job, make sure that they are feeling fulfilled as well. I also really like training our participants and make sure they know what they're doing, what they're into, what they're signed up for. I just really want everybody to feel successful and know how to do their job in the best possible way.
Perfect. And what's something in our space that no one's talking about enough?
I think that there is a lack of communication about the gaps between different vendors, different resources. We're not making it a communication how do we make the sites have a easier job, or how do we help the sponsors? Like, how do we do that together?
My name is Jenny. I work as a clinical research coordinator at the Minneapolis Heart Institute Foundation.
Awesome. And if you had a magic wand, what's something you would change about the clinical trial industry?
Just want to make a more robust workforce just magically appear so that we were well staffed. Yeah.
And what is your favorite part of the clinical trial industry?
I just really love being a part of something that's really cutting edge in a way that offers unique novel therapies to patients. Being able to be a part of something that really helps patients and science is really rewarding for me.
My name's Andy. I am a clinical research coordinator and registered nurse. I work at the Minneapolis Heart Institute Foundation in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And as a coordinator, what is your favorite part about your job?
As a coordinator, I think the favorite part about my job is just like providing patients with more options and kind of giving them new opportunities in their care to be involved in research and new developments.
Awesome. Yeah. And what is something no one's talking about in this space enough that you think we should talk about more?
In the research space, I think we should talk about more patient retention, just getting patients involved and keeping them enrolled in studies and just maintaining that connection too.
Inato after party successful. We're gonna go around real quick and just get people's thoughts on ACRP. Let's start with my man William right here. We've been talking to him for a while. I don't have the other mic, but what do you think so far about this event? What do you think?
Amazing, great event, great people, great networking opportunities with all the sides.
Thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
What did you think about the event?
That was great. That was a good opportunity to network.
Are you guys site owners, everyone? Or
Sponsor CRO site, study coordinator site. Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
I've been a follower of yours. Thank you. I appreciate everything that you do. This guy has helped me train my coordinators now. I'm like, guys, go to YouTube and watch this man, because these people.
I've been doing this for 30 years, and all these new people that I meet, they're like, do you know Dan? He taught me everything I know. I'm like, I do know Dan.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I think he's really made such an impact in the clinical research community in all areas, just by being out there and talking.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I was a clinical research site manager for a local office in the Los Angeles area. I was looking to hopefully touch base with you, but I've gone solo as a consultant because I want to help local smaller sites in the urbanized Los Angeles area.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of sites to kind of strengthen themselves with the regular.
Ooh, I got a contact for you. Dr. Al Jazirely. He's actually looking for someone like you. He's in North Hollywood Presbyterian.
My mom lives in North Hollywood. Let's go.
So you work for her? Or,
She's my administrative assistant.
What's her name?
I'm her sidekick.
Yeah. Sandy.
My name is Sandy.
Admin?
She's my admin assistant.
All right.
My calls and appointments.
Dr. Al, we got someone for you. I'm going to introduce her to you right now. I'll give you his number.
Perfect. And I will hand my business card over. If you would like to zoom in, please do.
Zoom in, Arturo.
She's on LinkedIn. Thank you. Here's my QR code. Thank you so much. Now you can find me at www.insightresearchconsultant.com. Thank you.
That's cool. Thank you.
I'm hoping to help the Latino community along with other.
Did we have you on Latinos in Clinical Research yet?
I joined your page, but I would love to be part of your guys' now.
You haven't met Judy or Monica?
I've known everyone else from LinkedIn.
Do you guys want to go over there and meet them?
Yeah, I want to go over and meet everyone.
I'll text you Dr. Al's phone number.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
His cell phone. He's actually looking for someone like you.
And I work with local radio stations, so I do live on-air calls and educational, ads and stuff. So if you want to advertise, please give me a call. I'm bilingual, hablo español, so puedo ayudar a los pacientes de cualquier idioma, inglés o español. Give me a call, Dr. L.
This is cool. All right, let me introduce you to Judy, Monica.
Oh, Monica.
You know Monica?
Yeah, I mean, I follow your guys' pages.
But you didn't meet her?
Never, not in person.
All right.
I'm excited.
Watch, we're going to introduce. This is better than any conference when you connect someone to someone else and you create key performance indicators, business objectives. So Linda is going to be introduced to Dr. Al Jazirely, who's actually one of the founding members of Save Our Sites. And we're going to introduce Linda right now to Monica and Judy over here. Thank you.
I really want to say that you have helped me kind of with the outreach to the community. I see the things you guys do. I'm reaching out to local clínicas médicas or medical clinics in the local area, to kind of set up that outreach to help patients in the area. So a lot of the stuff that my office has done, Mr. Sphere right here, has been a big...
Well, thank you. I'm going to text you right now Dr. Al's number so you can have your family. I would love it. We actually have cardiovascular disease, chronic kidney disease, and weight loss all in one. Either of those first two, and then weight loss.
Perfect. Oh, we've got some people that could do the weight loss in your mom.